Call of the Blade, written by Alex Ross Ryder. We moved across town when I was in middle school, from an apartment to a bigger place with a yard and, most importantly, opportunity and space on the inside to make our new house a home. I remember how it was 2 weeks of moving and chaos. I felt it even as a kid. Just so much going on, so many phone calls, so much looking over documents to make sure that they were being written and read right, and shifting schedules to make them align. Mommy broke down into tears more than once, and honestly, so did Dad. Then was the big day, the big move, and all of the movers, and then, at long last, it was over. I remember we got Chick-fil-A for dinner that night, and I remember both Mommy and Daddy were looking just lost. Like they were there, but they weren't there. If I'd been older and wittier, I'd have said that lights were on, but no one was home. At the time, I just offered them chicken nuggets and some of that weird special sauce, and they kind of looked at me, then at each other, then laughed. I remember Mommy. She was so pretty, wavy yellow hair, so long that it touched her waist, tiny, short, skinny. But from my memories and the pictures I've got, she wasn't exactly built like a kid. Not built like a kid at all. I remember, half the time, people thought she was my sister, not my mommy, and she ate up every bit of it. She'd lean in, kind of straightening her back, pushing herself out for all the world to see, flashing them a big smile and a grin and a wink, and tell them she was my mommy. She was a good mommy, so pretty. I remember it was the summer, so Dad was working a lot, lots of long hours, sometimes far from home. The days were long, but sometimes he didn't even get home until after the sun was down. He was constantly tired, too tired to play, too tired to even rest, if that makes sense. Always something on his mind about work. He didn't even have time to do half the projects that he promised Mommy he'd do. That's what led up to it. That's what caused it. Dad was going to be away for work for a long day, up at 5 and back whenever he got back. I remember I heard him and Mommy kiss, and then Mommy was up at him. She got me up bright and early. Then we went out to the home improvement store to get the saw. I remember it looked intimidating in a picture, like a weapon more than a tool. And the box was huge. I couldn't budge it, and Mommy couldn't either. It took a nice man who worked at the store to get it into the cart, and then into the van. How we got it out to set it up, I don't even remember. But what I do remember is, if it looked intimidating on the box, when it got set up, it looked deadly. The blade was so sharp, like 100 tiny kitchen knives, and when Mommy told me how it worked, when she tested it out, and it made that high-pitched whine and then the roar, I bolted as if it was a beast about to eat me alive. Even when it stopped, it looked like a mouth opened wide, as if calling me in. Mommy laughed and just said to be careful and sit still, and not talk or distract her or even move. It's safe, she said, if you're careful and respectful, and we gotta get the job done anyway for Dad's sake. So sit still, don't move, don't make any noise, and it'll all be okay. But what if... No, silly. Be a good boy. Sit still, don't move, don't make any noise. It'll all be okay. So, I was the good boy. I sat still. I didn't move. I didn't make a sound as Mommy made the saw whine and roar and whir into life. Those 100 sharp kitchen blades, I couldn't even see them anymore. They were spinning so fast, they looked like a disc. The blade was so sharp that it ate through the wood like it was paper. And I could see Mommy smiling and squinting, her blonde hair down by the blade. She looked like a warrior, or a goddess of some kind. She was so pretty and awesome and cool. And then, the wind changed, and Mommy's long blonde hair shifted and twisted as if called to the blade. At first, nothing happened. I guess the teeth cut her hair like a scissor. But then there was more. There was a lot more. And it got trapped in the blade and pulled into the saw. And then Mommy got yanked forward. And she was so tiny, and so she was called to the blade. And then the screaming roar that I thought was going to eat me turned its appetite on her. It pulled her face first into the blade. She stopped herself with her arms, kind of, but her face got cut from her forehead to her nose to her mouth, making her mouth open vertically, bright red and wet with blood. And then she got pulled further, cutting into her jaw and skull and her brain, almost bisecting it between the hemispheres, almost giving her a split personality. But some part of Mommy was still alive. Some part of her made her grab at the blade until it ate at her fingers too. And then it gripped and it pulled, and then it just kept going. It cut Mommy apart from her head to her toes, and like a good little boy, I sat there. I sat still. I didn't move. I didn't so much as make a peep as the saw ate my own Mommy alive right in front of my eyes. I don't really remember what happened next, the days and the months after that. The best I can piece together is they said I was still in shock when Dad found me, still terrified and motionless, dumbstruck by what I'd seen. They must have asked me what had happened, and I must have told the truth. Most of it anyway, except Dad never believed me. Not really, I think. I think he knew even then that I was a little different, a little off. That when Mommy told me to sit and be quiet and to not move a muscle, I took it a little too recklessly. And besides, what I told them made sense, mostly. It was kind of weird, kind of a gross coincidence on top of everything, but it could have happened like that. The blade caught Mommy's hair and chopped it up. Why would it stop there and not pull off her clothes too?